We gather today to make good trouble. And as we stand here on the very day that Emmett Till was murdered 66 years ago, there are many who can't be here with us. And so I want to call into this space the millions that are locked in cages all over this country, from DC to Birmingham, from New York City to California. I want to call into the space the families and their loved ones who lost their lives to violence and police brutality. I want to call into the space the people living under the radar because our country still others them. I want to call into this space the thousands of service people that are serving our country and our farm workers and our essential workers. And I want to call into this space the many of you who couldn't be here because of the pandemic. This too is for you. I will not forget you. We will not forget you. We will continue to fight with all our being for you. We are here in body, but there are 10 more of you who cannot be. So I stand in solidarity with you. Today, I am reminded of the words of the late, great John Lewis, who stood here at the young age of 22. He called on the Kennedy administration to not just grant the people voting rights, but to also protect the grandmas and the babies in Alabama from getting dogs sicked on them when they went to vote. Because it wasn't just about voting, it was about human dignity and decency. It was about the right to exist, live, and thrive, to participate in the most fundamental and basic right, and to have the agency of the structures that govern you and the people you love. Mr. Lewis' words and sentiments have deep relevance today, especially when we still live in a country that incarcerates a disproportionate amount of our Black brothers and sisters at alarming rates in the states where their ancestors were enslaved and sometimes on the same land that was stolen from our indigenous siblings. Felony disenfranchisement and denying returning citizens the right to vote is steeped in white supremacy, racism, and needs to be abolished now. As I stand here today, I am grateful for my ancestors and for yours, those who all came before us to fight so that we could live. And while I'm grateful, I'm also steadfast in that ancestral obligation to continue the fight for justice, equity, and collective liberation. What we have seen in this country in the past 12 months has not just been a blatant attack on our voting rights, but an all-out war on multicultural, multi-gender, multiracial, and multi-faith democracy. You see, I come from a deeply religious immigrant mother from Zacatecas, Mexico, and a strong, hard-working indigenous Chicano father from Anaheim, California. I grew up somewhere between the basketball courts, the baseball diamonds, the sunny beaches, and the strawberry fields of Oxnard, California. And my mentor, Harry Belafonte, taught me that there's a lane for everybody. Whatever gift you bring that to the cause. He lent his celebrity, he gave everything to the movement. And to stand here connected to him 58 years later is the continuation of the legacy and the seeds he planted. Remember, family, we're all making history together. Whatever role you decide to take, it is all our responsibility to pick up that baton, like Tamika said, and pass it to the next generation. For Belafonte cannot be here, but you and his teachings and lessons will continue to live with us and within me. In closing, I want to talk about belonging. My Chicano father was born in 1924 in this country, and as a child, he was deported to a country he wasn't born in, had never lived in. And as we create more borders, I can't help but to think about how he didn't cross the border crossed us. My husband and I recently spent time in Oklahoma with his parents, who told us stories about growing up in the segregated South, not being able to vote and now being proud to vote Trump out of office. My immigrant mother tells me how proud she is because while she didn't step foot into a classroom a day in her life, her daughter helped organize the largest single-day protest in the nation's history, which will always be part of our history books. To everybody here, including my Justice League family, I see you. Let's continue to organize together to build the beloved community. So remember, Whether it's the Chicano, the Southern preacher, the immigrant mother, the dreamer, the young activist, the struggling family, the Muslim woman with the hijab, the college student, or the homeboy down the block, I am here to tell you that you belong, that this is our country. It is our ancestral obligation to finish the fight, to ensure a more perfect union, that every man, woman, trans, and gender nonconforming person has a right to vote, to live and to thrive. It is our fundamental right to belong in this country. I am here to tell the House of Representatives, the U.S. Senate, and the White House that we will not back down. We will resist until you answer our clarion call for human rights and dignity. Si no nos dejan soñar, no los vamos a dejar dormir. If they don't let us dream, we will not let them sleep. Sí se puede. Justice for Sean Monterosa.